Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good midnight, perhaps, maybe when you're seeing this, where you're seeing this in on planet Earth. It is 6:26 Eastern Standard Time in Hawk Island, also known as Montreal. I'm going to be doing a special reading session. It's going to be fast paced, dedicated to the internet and celebrating the series in the coming days, and this is the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the internet, which officially believe it was 11th of March or so 6 days ago. But nonetheless, throughout the month of March, let's say 30 years since the internet, of course, is a millennial born 1984, 1984, has been part of my adolescent and young adult life, as it is for many. What is the internet? How did it come about? Well, I heard this guy named Tim Berners-Lee, spelled somehow L-E, Tim Berners-Lee, working at CERN, wrote a proposal, and the proposal believe, okay, this is mine, I don't want to give misinformation, because we do have an issue with fake news and misinformation and a lot of different sorts of. But anyways, so we shall do a reading lecture coffee with dragon session. The internet, the internet. For some mysterious, the World Wide Web. What is it exactly? Is the internet and the World Wide Web the same thing? Or not? If not, what's the difference? An interesting book that I've read while I was recovering. Well, this was my recovery as from chronic illness and struggling, of course, financially, and was spending a lot of time in the libraries, the city of Montreal, called by me Hawk Island, and was doing a lot of reading. I remember 3 years ago, read this book called Black Code, and it was about the internet and the foundations and the more, not necessarily. I'm not a believer in conspiracy theories. Of course, conspiracies did exist, such as the murder of my great grandfather Julius Caesar, who got on the side, the Ides of March, and other conspiracies, perhaps, of course, JFK and others. Such conspiracies do exist, but I mean, I don't believe in the conspiratorial worldview of that is very prevalent on the internet. That's another cup of coffee, of course. Focusing on the internet, this book called The Black Code was a very interesting book. A very interesting book indeed. Would reread it again just to revise it. Cheers to the internet 30th anniversary. Of course, the internet, it's the 30th anniversary, but Tim Berners-Lee wrote the paper years before, and then it got implemented, and of course, it's what we have today with all the social media, Facebook, YouTube, of course, Google, and many other such. And for a fact, we will be using a smartphone which is internet connected, and we shall Google I'm proposing Googling to be a new verb 2019, have a special conjugation for future tense, past tense, and it's very simple. Googled, Googling, Google Access. That's a special one. It's I'm gonna explain it to you another day. It takes a whole cup of coffee just to explain the Google Access verb conjugation. And anyways, got a little bit of my creative grammar, English grammar, millennial English grammar development right there. So we shall be Googling the internet. the super technology of Googling via the internet. Of course, there's also a band called the internet, but we're not going to be reading about the band. That is an artist music band, but we will be, of course, um, do like some of their songs, like Ego Death. That's an album actually from and that sounds kind of cool, because someone was trying to nullify the ego trying to fight selfishness and the ego more and more, day by day, and it's been an ongoing process for years, to fight that ego and keep that balance of individual with the collective, with the society, the public and the private. Of course, freedom and responsibility, that balanced hive mind, and it's pretty cool. Purple Naked Lady, that's really cool. But anyways, we will not be, of course, going to do the internet as the band. That's perhaps another cup of coffee, but which we can explore. So the internet, getting ready, set, hut hut hut. You can close your eyes. I'm going to be doing a few minutes here just for you, special Adrian h.a.dragan Coffee with Dragon reading session dedicated to the invention known as the internet, which has, for better or for worse, destroyed walls. No walls, build the ring. By the way, Donald Trump, wake up, 2019, wake up. Should bring us together. Internet. This article is about the worldwide computer network. The what? Internet users per 100 population members and GDP per capita selected countries. We see there how, of course, it goes up. The internet, contraction of interconnected network, and this is going to be a special dragon art, poetry, rap, spoken word type of reading straight from after Googling from the beautiful iPhone. The internet, contraction of interconnected network, is the global system of interconnected computer networks that use the internet protocol suite TCP/IP to link devices worldwide. To link devices worldwide. To link devices worldwide. It is a network of networks that consists of private, public, academic, business, and government networks of local to global scope, linked by a broad array of electronic, wireless, and optical networking technologies. Now, of course, we gotta do a little bit of learning, because those words also have layers and layers of pages of understanding, wisdom, and knowledge. The internet carries a vast range of information, resources, and services, such as the interlinked hypertext documents and applications of the World Wide Web. The internet carries a vast range of information, resources, and services, such as the interlinked hypertext documents and applications of the World Wide Web. www. The internet carries a vast range of information, resources, and services, such as the interlinked hypertext documents and applications of the World Wide Web, electronic mail, telephony, and file sharing. The origins of the internet date back to research commissioned by the federal government of the United States in the 1960s to build robust, fault-tolerant communication with computer networks. The primary precursor network, the ARPANET, initially served as a backbone for interconnection of regional, academic, and military networks in the 1980s. The funding of the National Science Foundation network as a new backbone in the 1980s, as well as private funding for other commercial extensions, led to worldwide participation in the development of new networking technologies and the merger of many networks. The linking of commercial networks and enterprises by the early 1990s marked the beginning of the transition to the modern internet and generated a sustained exponential growth. sustained exponential growth. Generated a sustained exponential growth as generations of institutional, personal, and mobile computers were connected to the network. Although the internet was widely used by academia since the 1980s, commercialization incorporated its services and technologies into virtually every aspect of modern life. Of modern life. Most traditional communications media, including telephony, radio, television, paper, mail, and newspapers, are reshaped, redefined, or even bypassed by the internet, giving birth to new services such as email, internet, telephony, internet, television, online, music, digital, newspapers, and video streaming websites. Newspaper, book, and other print publishing and are adapting to website technology or are reshaped into blogging, web feeds, and online news aggregators. The internet has enabled and accelerated new forms of personal interactions through constant messaging, internet forums, and social networking. Online shopping has grown exponentially both for major retailers and small businesses and entrepreneurs, as it enables firms to extend their brick and mortar presence to serve a larger market or even sell goods and services entirely online. Business to business and financial services on the internet affect supply chains across entire industries. Business to business and financial services on the internet affect supply chains across entire industries. Business to business and financial services on the internet affect supply chains across entire industries. Across entire industries. The internet has no single centralized governance in either technological implementation or policies for access and usage. Each constituent network sets its own policies. The overreaching definitions of the two principal namespaces in the internet: the Internet Protocol address, IP address, space, and the domain name system, DNS, are directed by a maintainer organization, the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN. ICANN. The technical underpinning and standardization of the core protocols is an activity of the Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF, a non-profit organization of loosely affiliated international participants that anyone may associate with by contributing technical expertise. In November 2006, the Internet was included on USA Today's list of New 7 Wonders. Terminology: The Internet Messenger by Buky, B-U-K-Y, Schwartz, S-C-H-W-A-R-T-Z, located in Holon, in Israel. That's pretty cute. Love how those AACs, like 3 A's on the head and 2 on the wheel, like the commercial A. It's pretty cool, like an art, and it has the wings. I like it. In Holon, Holon, in Israel. When the term Internet is used to refer to the specific global system of interconnected Internet protocol networks, the word is a proper noun that should be written with an initial capital letter. In common use and the media, it is often erroneously not capitalized vis-a-vis the Internet. Some guides specify that the word should be capitalized when used as a noun, but not capitalized when used as an adjective. The Internet is also often referred to as the net, as a short form of network. Historically, as early as 1849, the word internet was used uncapitalized as an adjective, meaning interconnected or interwoven. The designers of early computer networks used internet both as a noun and as a verb in shorthand form of internet work or internet working, meaning interconnected computer networks. The term Internet and World Wide Web are often used interchangeably in everyday speech. It is common to speak of going on the Internet when using a web browser to view web pages. However, the World Wide Web or the web is only one of a large number of Internet services. The web is a collection of interconnected documents, web pages, and other web resources linked by hyperlinks and URLs. As another point of comparison, Hypertext Transfer Protocol (HTTP) is the language used on the web for information transfer. Yet, it is just one of many languages or protocols that can be used for communication on the Internet. The difference, and there's an article called The Difference Between the Internet and the World Wide Web. The Internet, the difference, just like the question at the beginning, for starting to dedicate a cup of coffee with Dragon to the Internet. Of course, in the abstract, in the practical, in the theoretical, and in the founders such as Tim Berners-Lee and many others, of course, pioneers and us users and lovers, supporters. The term interweb is a portmanteau of Internet and World Wide Web, typically used sarcastically to parody a technical and savvy user. That would be me. That would be me. You, me and you, us. That's us. But we're making progress. See, Coffee with Dragon. We're learning. In another few days, maybe we're learning some more, and then some more, and then from there, we attain more wisdom, more understanding, more knowledge. So yeah, technically unsavvy user. Research into packet switching. History, so I'm going into the history now. Research into packet switching, one of the fundamental internet technologies, started in the early 1960s in the work of Paul Barron and Donald Davies. Packet switching networks such as the NPL network, ARPANET, the Merit network, Cyclades, CYCLADS, and Telenet were developed in the late 1960s and early 1970s. The ARPANET project led to the development of protocols for internet working, by which multiple separate networks could be joined into a network of networks. ARPANET development began with two network nodes which were interconnected between the Network Measurement Center at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA, Henry Samueli School of Engineering and Applied Science directed by Leonard Kleinrock, that is, and the NLS system at SRI International by Douglas Engelbart in Menlo Park, California on October 29, 1969. On October 29, 1969. On October 29, 1969. The third site was the Color-Fried Interactive Mathematics Center at the University of California, Santa Barbara, followed by the University of Utah Graphics Department. In an early sign of future growth, 15 sites were connected to the young ARPANET by the end of 1971. His early years were documented in the 1972 film Computer Networks, The Heralds of Resource Sharing. Early international collaborations on the ARPANET were rare. European developers were concerned with developing the X.25 networks. Notable exceptions were the Norwegian seismic array NORSAR in June 1973, followed in 1973 by Sweden with satellite links to the Tanum Earth Station and Peter T. Kirstein's research group in the United Kingdom. Initially, at the Institute of Computer Science, University of London, and later at University College London in December 1974. Specification of Internet Transmission Control Program by Vint Cerf, Eugen Dalal, and Carl Sunshine. It's a cool name, Carl Sunshine. Eugen Dalal and Carl Sunshine, Vincent Cerf, Vinton, that's Vinton, V-I-N-T-O-N, Vinton Cerf. Used the term Internet as a shorthand for internetworking, and later RFCs repeated this use. Access to the ARPANET was expanded in 1981 when the National Science Foundation (NSF) founded the Computer Science Network (CSNET). In 1982, the Internet Protocol Suite (TCP/IP) was standardized, which permitted worldwide proliferation of interconnected networks. TCP/IP network access expanded again in 1986 when the National Science Foundation Network (NSF) net provided access to supercomputer sites in the United States for researchers, first at speeds of 56 kilobytes per second, kbits, 56k bits, 56k bits, and later at 1.5 megabits and 45 megabits per second. Commercial Internet Service Providers (ISPs) emerged in the late 1980s and early 1990s. The ARPANET was decommissioned in 1990. The ARPANET was decommissioned in 1990. The ARPANET was decommissioned in 1990. T3NSF net backbone, circa 1992. Of crossing the United States, like things. The Internet rapidly expanded in Europe and Australia in the mid to late 1980s, and to Asia in the late 1980s and early 1990s. The beginning of dedicated transatlantic communication between the NSF and ETA and networks in Europe was established with a low-speed satellite relay between Princeton University and Stockholm, Sweden in December 1988. Although other network protocols such as UUCP had global reach well before this time, this marked the beginning of the Internet as an intercontinental network. Intercontinental network. Public commercial use of the Internet began in mid-1989 with the connection of MCUI mail and computer serves email capabilities to the 500,000 users of the Internet. Just months later, on 1st of January 1990, PSINet launched an alternate Internet backbone for commercial use, one of the networks that would grow into the commercial Internet we know today. In March 1990, the first high-speed T1 1.5 megabits per second link between the NSF and ET and Europe was installed between Cornell University and CERN, allowing much more robust communications that were capable with satellites. With satellites. With satellites. With satellites. Satellites would begin. 6 months later, Tim Berners-Lee would begin writing World Wide Web. 6 months later, Tim Berners-Lee would begin writing World Wide Web. 6 months later, Tim Berners-Lee would begin writing World Wide Web, the first web browser after 2 years of lobbying CERN management. By Christmas 1990, Berners-Lee had built all the tools necessary for a working web: the Hypertext Transfer Protocol (HTTP) 0.9, the Hypertext Markup Language (HTML), the first web browser, which was also a HTML editor and could access Usenet newsgroups and FTP files, the first HTTP server software, later known as CERN HTTPD, the first web server, and the first web pages that described the project itself. In 1991, the Commercial Internet Exchange was founded, allowing PSINet to communicate with the other commercial networks SurfNet and Alternet. Stanford Federal Credit Union was the first financial institution to offer online internet banking services to all of its members in October 1994. This is important financial news. History, in the history of finances. My other lectures and my initiatives of world citizen finance, to study and learn finance. This, of course, can be integrated with it. So that is part of it. Stanford Federal Credit Union was the first financial institution to offer online internet banking services to all of its members in October 1994. Stanford Federal Credit Union was the first financial institution to offer online internet banking services to all of its members in October 1994. In 1996, OP Financial Group, also a cooperative bank, became the second online bank in the world and the first in Europe. In 1996, OP Financial Group, also a cooperative bank, became the second online bank in the world and the first in Europe. In 1996, OP Financial Group, also a cooperative bank, became the second online bank in the world and the first in Europe. By 1995, the internet was fully commercialized in the US when the NSF-Net was decommissioned, removing the last restrictions on use of the internet to carry commercial traffic. Worldwide internet users. World population in 2005. 6.5 billion, and users worldwide in 2005 was 16%. In 2010, the world population, of course, grew 6.9 billion, but the users worldwide almost doubled the users to 30%. And in 2017, population of the world grew 7.4 billion and also gained big time again. So 48% of users worldwide, so almost half the world population. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing feature. Just in just a short span of years, in terms of the history of mankind and the developmental, technological, scientific, and of human civilizations. World population. So users worldwide in 2005, 16%, 2010, 30%, 2017, 48%. And then you have the disparity. Users in the developing world in 2005, 8%, then increased to 21% in 2010, then to 41.3% in 2017. Users in the developed world, 51% in 2005, 67% in 2010, and 81% in 2017. This is all 2017 is an estimate. 2017 is an estimate from International Telecommunications Union, note 37. International Telecommunications Union is a specialized agency of the United Nations that is responsible for issues that concern information and communication technologies. It is the oldest among all the 15 specialized agencies of UN. It is the oldest among all the 15 specialized agencies of UN. It is the oldest among all the 15 specialized agencies of UN. International Telecommunication Union. Founded in 1865, 17th of May, 153 years ago. United Nations. Well, fascinating. So this source is the International Telecommunications Union, and we have note 37. 37 ICT Facts and Figures 2005, 2010, and 2017. And this was retrieved in October 2018. Quite something. Quite something. So, note 37, again from the International Telecommunications Union, ICT Facts and Figures 2005, 2010, and 2017. Note 37. Since 1995, the internet has tremendously impacted culture and commerce, including the rise of near instant communication by email, instant messaging, telephony, voice over internet protocol, or VoIP. It's called VoIP, 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 voice over internet protocol, two-way interactive video calls, and the World Wide Web. Since the 1995, the internet has tremendously impacted culture and commerce, including the rise of near-instant communication by email, instant messaging, telephony, voice over internet protocols, or VoIP, two-way interactive video calls, and the World Wide Web. Since 1995, the internet has tremendously impacted culture and commerce, including the rise of near-instant communication by email that is, instant messaging, telephony, voice over internet protocol, VoIP, two-way interactive video calls, and the World Wide Web with its discussion forums, blogs, social networking, and online shopping sites. Increasing amounts of data are transmitted at higher and higher speeds over fiber optic networks operating at 1 gigabytes per second, 10 gigabytes per second, or more. The internet continues to grow, driven by ever greater amounts of online information and knowledge, commerce, entertainment, and social networking. During the late 1990s, it was estimated that traffic on the public internet grew by 100% per year, while the mean annual growth in the number of internet users was thought to be between 20% and 50%. This growth is often attributed to the lack of central administration, which allows organic growth of the network, as well as the non-proprietary nature of the internet protocols, which encourages vendor interoperability and prevents any one company from exerting too much control over the network. As of March 31st, 2011, the estimated total number of internet users was 2.095 billion, or 30.2% of the world population, so almost one third. Of the world population. It is estimated that in 1993, the internet carried only 1% of the information flowing through two-way communication, that is, transmission, reception, reception, transmission, transmission, reception, through two-way telecommunication. By 2000, this figure had grown to 51%. Wow. And by 2007, more than 97% of all telecommunicated information was carried over the internet. I'm gonna have to reread this. All right, so here it is. It is estimated that in 1993, the internet carried only 1% of the information flowing through two-way telecommunication. By 2000, this figure had grown to 51%, and by 2007, more than 97% of all telecommunicated information was carried over the internet. It is estimated that in 1993 the Internet carried only 1% of the information flowing through two-way telecommunication. By 2000, this figure had grown to 51%, and by 2007, more than 97% of all telecommunicated information was carried over the Internet. Wow. Governance. Pardon. h.a.dragan headquarters in the Playa Vista neighborhood of Los Angeles, California, United States. The Internet is a global network that comprises many voluntarily interconnected autonomous networks. The Internet is a global network that comprises many voluntarily interconnected autonomous networks. The Internet is a global network that comprises many voluntarily interconnected autonomous networks. It operates without a central governing body. The technical underpinning and standardization of the core protocols IPv4 and IPv4v6 is an activity of the Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF, a non-profit organization of loosely affiliated international participants that anyone may associate with by contributing technical expertise. To maintain interoperability, the principal namespaces of the Internet are administered by the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, ICANN. ICANN is governed by an international board of directors, drawn from across the Internet technical, business, academic, and other non-commercial communities. ICANN coordinates the assignment of unique identifiers for use on the Internet, including domain names, Internet Protocol IP addresses, application port numbers, Indie transport protocols, and many other parameters. Globally unified namespaces are essential for maintaining the global reach of the Internet. Globally unified namespaces are essential for maintaining the global reach of the Internet. Globally unified namespaces are essential for maintaining the global reach of the Internet. This role of ICANN distinguishes it as perhaps the only central coordinating body for the global Internet. Regional Internet Registries, RIRSs, allocate IP addresses. Coffee time. Oh, we need some light. Some light. Sunlight. Sun life, sun is life, father of a life, light, light. Regional Internet Registries. African Network Information Center, AFRIN NIC for Africa. American Registry for Internet Numbers, ARIN, ARIN for North America. Asia Pacific Network Information Center, APNIC for Asia and the Pacific region. Latin American and Caribbean Internet Addresses Registry, LACNIC for Latin America and the Caribbean region. Réseau IP Européen Network Coordination Center, RIPNCC for Europe, the Middle East, and Central Asia. The National Telecommunications and Information Administration, an agency of the United States Department of Commerce, had final approval over changes to the DNS root zone until the INNA stewardship transition on 1st October 2016. The Internet Society, ISOC, was founded in 1992 with a mission to assure the open development, evolution, and use of the Internet for the benefit of all people throughout the world. The Internet Society was founded in 1992 with a mission to assure the open development, evolution, and use of the Internet for the benefit of all people throughout the world. Assure the open development, evolution, and use of the Internet for the benefit of all people throughout the world. Its members include individuals, anyone may join, as well as corporations, organizations, governments, and universities. Among other activities, ISOC provides an administrative home for a number of less formally organized groups that are involved in developing and managing the Internet, including the Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF, Internet Architecture Board IAB, Internet Engineering Steering Group IESG, Internet Research Task Force IRTF, and Internet Research Steering Group IRSG. On 16th of November 2005, the United Nations sponsored World Summit on the Information Society in Tunis. Tunis is in Tunisia, capital of Tunisia, North Africa. Established the Internet Governance Forum to discuss Internet-related issues. Infrastructure. List of countries by number of Internet users and list of countries by Internet connections. 2007 map showing submarine fiber optic telecommunication cables around the world. That's really cool. That's really cool. Okay, so we continue. The communications infrastructure of the Internet consists of its hardware components and a system of software layers that control various aspects of the architecture. Routing and service tiers. Packet routing across the Internet involves several tiers of Internet service providers. Another cool pic. Internet service providers, ISPs, establish the worldwide connectivity between individual networks at various levels of scope. End users who only access the Internet when needed to perform a function or obtain information represent the bottom of the routing hierarchy. At the top of the routing hierarchy are the Tier 1 networks, large telecommunication companies that exchange traffic directly with each other via very high-speed fiber optic cables and governed by peering agreements. Peering, that is Peering agreements. Tier 2. Tier 2 and lower level networks buy internet transit from other providers to reach at least some parties on the global internet, though they may also engage in peering. An ISP, that is an internet service provider, may use a single upstream provider for connectivity or implement multi-homing to achieve redundancy and load balancing. Internet exchange points are major traffic exchanges with physical connections to multiple ISPs. There's so much, and then next cup of coffee we're gonna have to take just one of them and read it, and then another one. Internet exchange points are major traffic exchanges with physical connections to multiple ISPs. Large corporations, such as academic institutions, large enterprises, and governments, may perform the same function as ISPs, engaging in peering and purchasing transit on behalf of their internal networks. Research networks tend to interconnect with large subnetworks such as Géant, Geant, Gloriad, Gloriad, Internet 2, and the UK's National Research and Education Network, JANET, JANET, T. Both the Internet IP routing structure and hypertext links of the World Wide Web are examples of scale-free networks. It's a dispute there for unclear citation. What is citation? Computers and routers use routing tables in their operating system to direct IP packets to the next hop router or destination. Routing tables are maintained by manual configuration or automatically by routing protocols. End nodes typically use a default route that points toward an ISP providing transit, while ISP routers use the Border Gateway Protocol to establish the most efficient routing across the complex connections of the global internet. Providing transit, while ISP routers use the Border Gateway Protocol to establish the most efficient routing across the complex connections of the global internet. The Border Gateway Protocol to establish the most efficient routing across the complex connections of the global internet. An estimated 70% of the world's internet traffic passes through Ashburn, Virginia. Now that's a fact that perhaps 9 years ago and a half, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 22 years ago, or whenever I knew subconsciously or heard it in a glimpse in a reading. But this is fascinating. But so we'll check. So who says this? So an estimated 70% of the world's internet traffic passes through Ashburn, Virginia. An estimated 70% of the world's internet traffic passes through Ashburn, Virginia. So data centers, Loudoun County Economic Development, Virginia. O'Connell Jonathan, 5 March 2014. Why Ashburn, Virginia is the center of the internet. Bloom, Andrew, the bullseye of America's internet. Quite a few articles that would support that, and this is interesting. So this note 54, 70% of the world's web traffic flows through Loudoun, Loudoun County, Washingtonian, 14th September 2016. Hmm. 70% of the world's, not just North America, Canada, United States, Mexico, or United States of America. 70% of the world's web traffic flows through Loudoun County, and I'm gonna have to load this to just read it. See if it loads properly. But wow, 70%. That's way more than half. So this was written in the Washingtonian, and the other ones that I quoted, several people who, at least are the ones that they were given the information. That is by these gentlemen, these people, researchers. Okay, so let's see what this Washingtonian. 70% of the world's web traffic flows through Loudoun County, Loudoun County. Over the past 2 decades, server farms have devoured. Of course, it's not. They don't eat. I mean, they have to be maintained. They consume energy. in different forms, of course, mainly electricity and what have you, but they don't actually devour the farms, of course. The computer, the servers, right? They, of course, in many ways, yes, because you can argue that there's the maintenance of the people who gotta be fed to maintain it and X and Y. So, okay, in the abstract, yes, but in the immediate, apparent, it's of course not so. It's of course not so. 70% of the world's web traffic flows through Loudoun County. Over the past 2 decades, server farms have devoured the farmland of Loudoun County. So much that vast portions of our online lives are now transacted via their fiber and cables. Written by Benjamin Fried, F-R-E-E-D, published on September 14, 2016. So in the scope of the relatively recent, like September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So for September, 2 years and a half ago, right? An Amazon data center in Ashburn, photographed in July. It's relatively newish. I mean, they're still there and already done farms, right? It's in the scope of the development of the internet. It's relatively a new article. So if it would have been 10 years ago or 15 years ago, that would have changed, but it's still valid, of course. Of course, there has been change in other data centers as Google's planning more and they're planning more data centers have opened, but nonetheless. So let's read it nonetheless, the article. So an Amazon data center in Ashburn, photographed in July. According to a Loudoun official, the company is the largest server farm tenant in the county, operating 26 facilities. Get off the Duals toll road and you can't miss them. Low-lying gray hulks sprawling across the rolling green landscape. Please, gray, a little bit of gray, but put some color. Anyways, they look blue to me. Whatever. So get off the Duals toll road and you can't miss them. Low-lying gray hulks sprawling across the rolling green landscape. An estimated 70% of the world's web traffic. And this is because I had to read the article. Because was a bit skeptic at first, even though there were 4 notes who maintained and different researchers that it does happen in Ashburn, Virginia. There's data centers, and 70% of the world's web traffic travels there. So first it was okay. United States, I would understand. America, United States' web traffic, 70%. Yeah, makes more sense. Or North American, put in Mexico and Canada as we're North Americans as a continent, North Americanos, North Americans, right? It would make sense that 70% of the data from North America would flow through there from North America, let's say, but from the whole world, right? Even in 2016 or 2 years ago, a lot of people were connected all over the world, right? From Israel to China, Egypt, Romania, Germany, Nigeria, there are millions of people connected to that. So 70% of the world's web traffic. That's wow. That's wow. Right? Did you know? Let me know what you think about that. An estimated 70% of the world's web traffic, streaming video, financial transactions, NSFW activities. NSFW activities? Non-financial activity, whatever. NSF doesn't say what it is, stands it's NSFW activities. Flows through the colorful insides of these windowless buildings. Welcome to Data Center Alley. the backbone of the online world, right here in DC's backyard. Welcome to Data Center Alley, the backbone of the online world, right here in DC's backyard. Loudoun County has played a critical role in our digital lives since AOL and other early internet firms set up shop in the 1990s because of the fiber optic cable infrastructure that those companies helped lay and the 20% below average electricity rate. It became the place to put up a data center and a 20% below average electricity rate. It became the place to put up a data center. Today, more than 60 facilities cover 10 million square feet of the county. Another 3.5 million square feet are going up. Today, more than 60 facilities cover 10 million square feet of the county. Another 3.5 million square feet are going up. Today, more than 60 facilities cover 10 million square feet of the county. Wow, 60 facilities. Another 3.5 million square feet are going up. Since 2008, says Loudoun Business Development Chief Buddy Reiser. Since 2008, there hasn't been a single day without construction on one. There hasn't been a single day without construction on one. Since 2008. So this was in 2016, September. So 8 years continuously. That's amazing. Isn't that amazing? Wow. Since 2008, on business, there hasn't been a single day without construction on one. For Loudoun, Loudoun, there's a clear financial benefit, 110 million in annual tax revenue. But as the formerly rural exurbs population has boomed, server farms are increasingly bumping up against homeowners who resent the views, like resentment, meaning they don't like, they're angry, they don't like the situation. To resentment, RESENT, to resent. I resent sometimes, or most people do, right? Certain things, somebody says something, or financial or spiritual, physical, I'm in pain, resent it, who resent the views, not to mention the perpetual hum of air conditioners and generators. Now, one official wants to give tax incentives to facilities that make their buildings more attractive. There's 21st century technology in those buildings, says Board of Supervisors member Ron Meyer. Let's make sure we have 21st century design. But even if the external aesthetics change over the next few years, the alley runs along the Silver Line corridor. Most Washingtonians will never lay eyes on the activity inside. 14.4 megawatts. And there's information there, so we're going to read it. 14.4 megawatts. That's the electrical capacity of the raging wire facility pictured. It's enough to power 8,846 average Virginia homes for a whole month. If the grid goes down, battery backups with enough juice for 10 minutes kick in. Within 30 seconds, diesel generators turn on and fuel companies start trucking in refills. Wow. Getting into a center requires passing several layers of security. ID badge swipes, ex-commando cards, and nearly as many cameras as a Las Vegas casino. That's all just to enter the building. Once you're in at the raging wire, an iris scanner grants you access to the man-trap on the right. The space turns green as the door opens. When people are securely inside and both doors are closed, which is required to gain access to the main facility. The man trap turns red. 1,500,000 square feet. That's the size of the largest data center in the county, twice as big as Tyson's Galleria. 7.2 percentage of the county's total revenue that's generated by the data center industry. The server farms can feel desperately empty. Their neighbors, on the other hand, feel their constant presence. At the retirement community pictured above, residents have complained to county officials that the Amazon server farm next door is an eyesore. 70 percentage of the world's internet traffic that goes through Loudoun's county every day. That means the county processes about 2.2 million terabytes worth of data on any given day. So today would increase it to September, October, November, December, January, February, March. So 2 years and 6 months, 2 years and a half since this article was written, it has increased. So 70%. There you go. That's quite something, isn't it? Wow. That's amazing. This article appears in our September 2016 issue of the Washingtonian. Pretty cool. Just gonna send it to a good friend whom become a good friend and while recovering from illness and sickness and living in financial precariousness. I met him at a library a few years ago and we've exchanged a lot of discussion, dialogue, and communication. He sent me throughout the years of great quotes which have invigorated, have inspired me, and have assisted me in my healing, my recovery, my transformation in many ways. So I'm just going to send him this article. He would have probably appreciated. All right. So the internet. So an estimated 70% of the world's internet traffic passes through Ashburn, Virginia. Access. Common methods of internet access by users include dial-up with a computer modem via telephone circuits, broadband over coaxial cable, fiber optics, or copper wires, Wi-Fi, satellite, and cellular telephone technology. Example: 3G, 4G, and now, of course, we come in for the 5G. G just stands for generation, basically. The internet may often be accessed from computers in libraries and internet cafes. Internet access points exist in many public places, such as airport halls and coffee shops. Various terms are used, such as public internet kiosk, public access terminal, and web payphone. Many hotels also have public terminals that are usually fee-based. These terminals are widely accessed for various usages, such as ticket booking, bank deposit, or online payment. Wi-Fi provides wireless access to the internet via local computer networks. Hotspots providing such access include Wi-Fi cafes, where users need to bring their own wireless devices such as a laptop or PDA. These services may be free to all, free to customers only, or fee-based. grassroots efforts have led to wireless community networks. Commercial Wi-Fi services covering large city areas are in many cities, such as New York, London, Vienna in Austria, Toronto, San Francisco, Philadelphia, Chicago, and Pittsburgh. Commercial Wi-Fi services covering large city areas are in many cities, such as New York. The internet can then be accessed from places such as a park bench. Apart from Wi-Fi, there have been experiments with proprietary mobile wireless networks like Ricochet, various high-speed data services over cellular phone networks, and fixed wireless services. High-end mobile phones such as smartphones in general come with internet access to the phone network. Web browsers such as Opera are available on these advanced handsets, which can also run a wide variety of other internet software. Internet usage by mobile and tablet devices exceeded desktop worldwide for the first time in October 2016. Internet usage by mobile and tablet devices exceeded desktop worldwide for the first time in October 2016. Internet usage by mobile and tablet devices exceeded desktop worldwide for the first time in October 2016. And Internet access provider and protocol matrix differentiates the methods used to get online. Internet on mobile in 2012 in billion 3.89, in 2016 4.83, and it's projected to increase to 5.69 in 2020 by mobile. So it's a cute picture there for the increase of accessing the internet via our smartphones, of course. Number of mobile cellular subscriptions 2012-2016. World Trends in Freedom of Expression and Media Development Global Report. According to the International Telecommunications Union, ITU, by the end of 2017, an estimated 48% of individuals regularly connect to the internet, up from 34% in 2012. So in 5 years, it has increased 14%. That's amazing. Mobile internet connectivity has played an important role in expanding access in recent years, especially in Asia and the Pacific and in Africa. The number of unique mobile cellular subscriptions increased from 3.89 billion in 2012 to 4.83 billion in 2016. Two-thirds of the world's population, with more than half of subscriptions located in Asia and the Pacific. The number of subscriptions is predicted to rise to 5.69 billion users in 2020. As of 2016, almost 60% of the world's population had access to a 4G broadband cellular network, up from almost 50% in 2015 and 11% in 2012. And this is disputed, this percentage for 2012. The limits that users face on accessing information via mobile applications coincide with a broader process of fragmentation of the internet. Fragmentation restricts access to media content and tends to affect poorest users the most. And this is taken from World Trends in Freedom of Expression and Media Development Global Report 2017-2018 from UNESCO. Zero rating. The practice of internet providers allowing users free connectivity to access specific content or applications for free has offered some opportunities for individuals to surmount economic hurdles, but has also been accused by its critics as creating a two-tiered internet. To address the issues with zero rating, an alternative model has emerged in the concept of equal rating and is being tested in experiments by Mozilla and Orange in Africa. Equal rating prevents prioritization of one type of content and zero rates all content up to a specified data cap. A study published by Chatham House, 15 out of 19 countries researched in Latin America had some kind of hybrid or zero-rated product offered. Some countries in the region had a handful of plans to choose from across all mobile network operators, while others, such as Colombia, offered as many as 30 prepaid and 34 postpaid plans. This is taken from Zero Rating in Emerging Economies London Chatham House, available online, the documents read. A study of 8 countries in the global south found that zero-rated data plans exist in every country, although there is a great range in the frequency with which they are offered and actually used in each. Across the 181 plans examined, 13% were offering zero-rated services. Another study, covering Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa, found Facebook's Free Basics and Wikipedia Zero to be the most commonly rated content. Protocols. While the hardware components in the Internet infrastructure can often be used to support other software systems, it is the design and the standardization process of the software that characterizes the Internet and provides the foundation for its scalability and success. The responsibility for the architectural design of the Internet software systems has been assumed by the Internet Engineering Task Force (IETF). The IETF conducts standard-setting work groups open to any individual about the various aspects of Internet architecture. Resulting contributions and standards are published as request for comments (RFC) documents on the IETF website. The principal methods of networking that enables the Internet are contained in specially designated RFCs that constitute the Internet standards. Other less rigorous documents are simply informative, experimental, or historical, or document the best current practices (BCP) when implementing Internet technologies. The Internet standards describe a framework known as the Internet Protocol Suite. This is a model architecture that divides methods into a layered system of protocols, originally documented in RFC 1122 and RFC 1123. The layers correspond to the environment or scope in which their services operate. At the top is the application layer, space for the application-specific networking methods used in software applications. For example, a web browser program uses the client-server application model and a specific protocol of interaction between servers and clients, while many live-sharing systems use a peer-to-peer paradigm. Below this top layer, the transport layer connects applications on different hosts with a logical channel to the network with appropriate data exchange methods. Underlying these layers are the networking technologies that interconnect networks at their borders and exchange traffic across them. The Internet layer enables applications running on computers, hosts, to identify each other via port numbers and Internet Protocol IP addresses, and route their traffic to each other via any intermediate transit networks. Last, at the bottom of the architecture is the link layer, which provides logical connectivity between hosts on the same network link, such as a local area network (LAN) or a dial-up connection. The model, also known as TCP/IP, is designed to be independent of the underlying hardware used for the physical connections, which the model does not concern itself with in any detail. Other models have been developed, such as the OSI model, that attempt to be comprehensive in every aspect of communications. While many similarities exist between the models, they are not compatible in the details of description or implementation. Yet TCP/IP protocols are usually included in the discussion of the networking. As user data is processed through the protocol stack, each abstraction layer adds encapsulation information at the sending host. The sending host. Data is transmitted over the wire at the link level between hosts and routers. Encapsulation is removed by the receiving host. Intermediate relays update link encapsulation at each hop and inspect the IP layer for routing purposes. The most prominent component of the Internet model is the Internet Protocol IP, which provides addressing systems including IP addresses for computers on the network. IP enables internet networking and in essence establishes the Internet itself. Internet Protocol version 4. IP4 is the initial version used on the first generation of the Internet and is still in dominant use. It was designed to address up to 4.3 billion 10 to the power of 9 hosts. However, the explosive growth of the Internet has led to IPv4 address exhaustion, which entered its final stage in 2011 when the global address allocation pool was exhausted. A new protocol version, IPv6, was developed in the mid-1990s, which provides vastly larger addressing capabilities and more efficient routing of Internet traffic. IPv6 is currently growing deployment around the world. Since Internet Address Registries (RIRSs) began to urge all resource managers to plan rapid adoption and conversion, IPv6 is not directly interoperable by design with IPv4. In essence, it establishes a parallel version of the Internet not directly accessible with IPv4 software. Thus, translation facilities must exist for internetworking or nodes must have duplicate networking software for both networks. Essentially, all modern computer operating systems support both versions of the Internet Protocol. Essentially, all modern computer operating systems support both versions of the Internet Protocol. Network infrastructure, however, has been lagging in this development, aside from the complex array of physical connections that make up its infrastructure. The Internet is facilitated by bi- or multi-layered commercial contracts, example, peering agreements, and by technical specifications or protocols that describe the exchange of data over the network. Indeed, the Internet is defined by its interconnections and routing policies. Services. Many people use erroneously the terms Internet and World Wide Web or just the web interchangeably, but the two terms are not synonymous. Many people use erroneously the terms Internet and World Wide Web or just the web interchangeably, but the two terms are not synonymous. Many people use erroneously the terms Internet and World Wide Web or just the web interchangeably, but the two terms are not synonymous. Many people use erroneously the terms Internet and World Wide Web or just the web interchangeably, but the two terms are not synonymous. The World Wide Web is a primary application program that billions of people use on the Internet, and it has changed their lives immeasurably. The World Wide Web is a primary application program that billions of people use on the Internet, and it has changed their lives immeasurably. However, the Internet provides many network services. Most prominently include mobile apps such as social media apps, the World Wide Web, electronic mail, multi-layer online games, internet telephony, and file sharing and streaming media services. World Wide Web. This next computer was used by Tim Berners-Lee at CERN and became the world's first web server. First web server, cool. World Wide Web browser software such as Microsoft's Internet Explorer / Edge, Mozilla Firefox, Opera, Apple Safari, and Google Chrome lets users navigate from one web page to another via hyperlinks embedded in the document. So that's what it was. That's how it works. How though? Like, really? These documents may also contain any combination of computer data, including graphics, sounds, text, video, multimedia, and interactive content that runs while the user is interacting with the page. Client-side software can include animations, games, office applications, and scientific demonstrations. For keyword-driven internet research using search engines like Yahoo, Bing, and Google, users worldwide have easy, instant access to a vast and diverse amount of online information. Compared to printed media, books, and encyclopedias, and traditional libraries, the World Wide Web has enabled the decentralization of information on a large scale. The web is therefore a global set of documents, images, and other resources, logically interrelated by hyperlinks and referenced with Uniform Resource Identifiers (URLs), URIs. Uniform Resource Identifiers (URIs) symbolically identify services, servers, and other databases, and the documents and resources that they can provide. Hypertext Transfer Protocol (HTTP) is the main access protocol of the World Wide Web. Web services also use HTTP to allow software systems to communicate in order to share and exchange business logic and data. The web has enabled, yeah, the web has enabled individuals and organizations to publish ideas and information to a potentially large audience. Coffee with Dragon. One view, two views, three views. I'm doing it for my own healing, recovery, learning. First, for cooperation.